Welcome to Mug to Mug with Erin. I'm Erin. This is my mug. This is my other mug. And I'm glad your mug is here today too. Today I want to talk about something that's got me really fired up. I put a quote on Instagram that was from Peter Reed, who is with Torchbearers International. He spoke at our church this week, and he spoke a lot about how we cannot live the Christian life on our own. We cannot live the Christian life without it being Christ living in and through us. If we try to live without that, then we will burn out, and it will be all us trying to look good and do things right from the outside in. And Christ came to live in us so he could work through us from the inside out. So the quote that I used on Instagram was, he said, "I let the feeling of Christ's absence dictate the reality of his presence." And I'm going to say that again. I let the feeling of his absence dictate the reality of his presence. And I love that quote because it shows the gap between us knowing that God is with us, but then in everyday life, we often feel like he's not with us. And so Jesus straight up told his disciples, "I will not leave you as orphans." But as believers, we often live, think, and act as if we are abandoned, as if we are orphans, as if we are alone and without hope. What do we do with that gap between what God says is true and what feels to be true? Well, in that gap, we need to run toward truth. We need to run toward God and say things like, "I need help. Can you help me see you in this situation? Can you help me understand? And I really need you to do something here. This is beyond my help. This is beyond what I can do." And I have said that last thing a lot in our marriage over the years. Stephen and I would end up on opposite sides of a situation or a decision. And there were times when I just go, "Lord, you have to do something here." And over the 30 years of marriage, I've watched him take us and turn us back toward each other time and time again, so that I know that when we ask for help, he will give it. He doesn't want us to keep going on feeling like we're alone, because we're so not alone. In his book, Gentle and Lowly, Dane Ortland says that since Genesis 3, since the fall, everyone who has been born thinking wrong thoughts about God. And it makes sense. We have an enemy who wants us to think wrong thoughts about God, who wants to keep us isolated away from God, because he knows that if we run toward God, we will find hope and life. The enemy of our soul wants to keep us feeling abandoned and alone and in the darkness, listening to his lies. But what is the truth here? For believers, those who have a relationship with God through Christ, for believers, there is every reason to hope. There's every reason to hope. No matter what the headlines say, no matter what is going on in the world, we have hope. We have a God who left heaven and came and lived in this broken world, who experienced every emotion that we experience, who lived in this world, who felt the pull of sin, who knows the difficulty. And he is with us in a way to guide us. He's with us to show compassion for when we do fall. He is with us in every moment. And he bought us, he redeemed us, he freed us from the clutches of sin and death. So we have every hope. In fact, Jesus is Emmanuel. And we hear this a lot at Christmas and not much the rest of the time of the year. But Emmanuel means God with us. Jesus is Emmanuel. Jesus is God with us. God is with us. He's with us every day. So I like to think, this helps me remember, he is our everyday Emmanuel. He is with us, God with us every day. In every situation, from the mundane to the messy, he is with us. If he's with us, then we are never alone. So when you feel alone today, and when I feel alone today, let's agree that we will remember the reality is that we are not alone. And we can tell God, okay, now I believe what you say, that I'm not alone. Please bridge that gap so that I can be convinced and I can feel that you are with me. The more that we talk to God, the more that we come to Him, we will build confidence in who He is. We'll build confidence that He is who He says He is, and that He loves us the way He says He loves us. You are precious to Him, and you are never, ever alone.